Active.
We got the message. Let's also hear it out from Praveer Sinha, MD and CEO at Tata Power. Avan spoke with him after their numbers.
This quarter has been a very good performance, very steady performance. But if you see in last 5 quarters, we've delivered very good results. And consistently, we have shown a growth in profit. And this quarter, of course, the growth in profit is 22% compared to last year. This has been backed by not only good performance by Mundra, but by all the other businesses also. Mundra, we have been able to repay the loan based on the money that we got from sale of ships, and also the pref equity that was put by Tata Sons. So that has helped us to repay nearly 4,000 crores of loan, and we have just a little less than 4,000 crores loan pending in Mundra. This has also been backed by a very good sourcing of coal that has been done. Since last 18 months, we have been doing a large amount of blending of coal, which has given us the flexibility to import coal from different parts of the world, especially spot market and distress sell of coal that takes place. And along with the lower coal prices globally, now we have been able to do a much better and improved performance in Mundra. All the other generation business, renewable, EPC, our distribution business, including the Odisha distribution that we have taken, have stabilized, and we expect that our performance will continue to be good in future too.
All right, and there have been quite a few announcements from the budget as well. They're looking at upgrading the supply systems, the framework to consumers as alternatives to choose more than one distribution company, the 1% agricultural infrastructure, etc. How has the budget impacted the sector according to you? How have you looked at that 3.1 lakh crore investment in the distribution scheme over the next 5 years?
I think the budget has been very forward-looking. There are few very important announcements which were made. The first is, of course, the 3 lakh crore which will be given to distribution companies right through to improve their distribution network, upgrade their technology, IT systems, and also for smart metering. And there is a huge focus that prepaid smart meter will help the distribution companies to improve their collection efficiency and thereby bring down their AT&C losses. So that's a very good step, and it's a carrot and stick policy of the government that for availing the loan, you need to comply to certain conditions in terms of reduction of AT&C loss, and also in terms of improving the customer service that has been lacking in the sector for many years. The second big announcement is that the government talked about a bill that will come in Parliament, which will help the distribution companies to become more competitive in the sense that the distribution business will be licensed. And that means anyone who has the desire and intention to take up distribution of electricity can supply electricity. So while the existing network will remain with the incumbent and they will continue to provide the service, you will have more of supply companies who can come and supply electricity and provide better customer service to the consumers. So that's a path-breaking step that has been taken. And once it is approved by the Parliament, there will be huge improvement. In the bill also is a discussion about some of the other objectives in terms of ensuring that the distribution companies make payment on time to the generating companies. There is also mention about the RPO obligation, that the RPO obligation has to be met by the distribution companies, and if they do not meet the RPO obligation, there is a huge penalty. So that once it gets enforced, will ensure that more and more renewable generation will come into the grid. Right now, we have typically about 10% of the total generation comes from renewable, but against the target of 20%. And if the RPO obligation has to be met, that means that much more capacity addition will happen very soon. So I think the announcement are very progressive announcement, and the name of the game is how quickly they are approved by the parliament and how quickly they can be implemented. But this will transform the power sector, which has been struggling for many years.
So what is the outlook when it comes to the coal segment for Indonesian mining? What is the outlook and how is it shaping up over there?
In the Indonesian mining, we are expecting the license renewal, which will happen in later part of this year. We have a license which is valid till December 21, and the government has already announced the policy under which the license will be renewed. The details are being worked out in terms of the extent of area and also the various taxes and duties which are undergoing modifications. Once it is announced, we expect that our license will get extended by another 10 years with a proviso to further extend by another 10 years. And we are definitely looking that this will again give us the type of returns it has been offering to us for last many years, especially since the coal prices has increased in last few months. We expect better results from the coal mining companies in the coming year.
And what are the initiatives to reduce the Mundra recovery under losses? What is the status of the tariff hikes?
As mentioned to you, we have gone and reduced the debt of the company. We have also taken steps to optimize our procurement of coal, and that has given us the flexibility to use different blends of coal. And all that has helped us to reduce our under recovery to something like 32 paisa in this quarter compared to 40 paisa last year and about 80 odd paisa 2 years back. So I think a huge effort has been made by us in ensuring that the Mundra operation becomes self-sustainable, and the cluster of Mundra along with the coal companies shows a positive EBITDA and a positive PAT.
And talk to us about the InvIT response as well. What's the timeline for this?
The InvIT discussions have been going on for last 6 to 8 months, and very good progress has been made. There have been large number of investors who have shown very good interest, and the detailed due diligence has been done, and also the discussion on the various agreements are going on. And there are nearly 15 agreements that we will have to enter if we get into the InvIT with our partners. The documentation is going on, and we do expect that within this month we will be in a position to finalize the binding offer and also sign on the agreements and take the board approval. So we are, I would say, at the last stage of the InvIT, and we expect that within this month we should be able to close it.
And what about the Electricity Act amendments? What are the opportunities for Tata Power in the distribution business?
As you know that we are now the biggest distribution company in the country. We have 12 million consumers. The number 2 has less than 5 million consumers. So there's a huge gap between us and the other players in distribution business. And our understanding of distribution business is also very good. The process, the practices, the technology that we use are unique, and is something that we have over a period of time developed this. We have excellent bench strength of people, and also partnerships with the technology partners globally. And we are excited about the opportunity that the distribution business is getting de-licensed. So we will play a very, very active role going forward in terms of taking up distribution opportunities in various states, and that will open up a new business growth for Tata Power in the coming years.
All right. And what about the budget proposal for the separation of the carriage and content? What could be the impact of that according to you on the sector and the company?
I think the fact that the government is wanting to de-license, that itself will de-link the content and carriage. So the wire business will remain separate, and there will be multiple players for supply of electricity. So this objective will be met as soon as the Parliament approves the amendment to the Electricity Act, which is there. So I think to a large extent, many of the challenges and ills of the sector will get eliminated. And we expect that once this is cleared by the Parliament, we will be in a position to provide much better quality service, much affordable power supply, and also the choice to the consumer. So it's a great opportunity to empower the customers because they will not only get better quality service, but they will have a choice of which service provider will supply them electricity.
All right, and finally, what's the company's strategy in the renewable segment? Any fresh initiatives being taken on this front?
Yes, as I mentioned to you, we are going for the InvIT. So InvIT will give us the opportunity to deleverage our existing balance sheet and move the whole asset on the InvIT platform. The type of returns that we are looking at it will give us the opportunity to scale